It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, December 9th. So today we have the moon in Scorpio all day, which is pretty intense. We do get to do a little bit of shadow work, really kind of explore the depths of our emotions, the depths of our passions, of our desires, even our anger. We have to sit in the funk in order to appreciate the light. We have to sit in the pain in order to appreciate the power that it is offering us. We have to sit with ourselves and understand where it is that the old version of self is coming to an end and where it is that the new version of self needs to be anchored in order to actually move forward with the soul contracts and the timelines that come with this particular version of self. Again, this is a good little bit of a reminder that there's going to be a lot of triggers and activations, especially dating back to November 13th when we had the new moon in Scorpio. We have to reflect back to that point. There's been a lot of change, a lot of transformation thus far. There's been a lot of new information and details revealed to us, a lot of revelation, so to speak. We're very much in the experimental phase, being in Sag season, as we approach the solstice energy. So we definitely have a lot going on. This is very deep, very intense as far as the emotional awarenesses go. And because Scorpio energy is highly intuitive as well, we're definitely tapping into new levels of our intuition, new levels of trusting our gut, and really exploring the inner realm of our thoughts and of our emotions. So there are 9 different aspects here today. 8 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in this Scorpio energy going to make a positive interaction with Neptune, who is now direct in Pisces energy. So this is some water on water action, and we love this for us because water is very cleansing, very healing, very transformative. Takes us through all the different type of variables that we could be thinking and feeling. What I love most about this is, of course, we're still kind of acclimatizing to Neptune being direct. We're waiting for our intuition to come back online, our creativity to come back online, for visions and dreams to be downloaded, for us to have these mystical experiences that, of course, were very few and far between while Neptune was retrograde. This particular interaction is going to do lovely things for our imagination, for our intuition. We are definitely moving into the emotional space where we're trusting our higher selves. We're really picking up on the subtle energies that are kind of in our environment, that we're picking up from, hints and clues around us. We are very in tune with ourselves, mostly because of this water on water action. Now, this is going to put us in a good situation to start visualizing different scenarios, different variables, if you will, and really listening to our physical bodies and how we're reacting and responding to some of the thoughts, some of the visuals that, of course, Neptune is helping us piece together. This is how we figure out what it is that we're moving away from and what it is that we're moving closer to. We continue this very transformative type of energy because the moon in Scorpio energy going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who of course is also in Pisces energy. So again, water on water action gives us the trine. It gives us a little bit of growth, a little bit of healing, a little bit of change, a little bit of transformation without a whole lot of energy, thought, or effort. This is just naturally happening. Now, what I love about this is, of course, Saturn, being the Lord of Karma, he rules over our roles and responsibilities in life. He rules over the system, the foundation, the structure that we have to kind of build within ourselves and in our external realm in order to actually start building towards our vision, our goals, our dreams. In Pisces energy, this is a reconstruction, if you will, of our belief system. We're tapping into a new willpower, new discipline within ourselves in order to understand that if we want our dreams, our visions, our goals to actually come to life, we have to build the proper structure for it. And that starts with our inner realm. It starts with our emotions. It starts with our headspace. We got to get in alignment in order to actually engage the physical body to take action and make moves to start piecing together this new foundation that we are going to be building upon. The moon is then going to interact with the sun in not the nicest way. It is a semi-square, so it's not a huge tension and conflict point, but it's enough of one to kind of take us back a couple of pegs. Now, the moon being in Scorpio energy, again, very emotional, very deep, very probing. The sun, of course, shining a bright light in the Sagittarius energy, is showing us a new truth, a new mission, a new purpose, a new quest. It's showing us where it is that we're experimenting with different thoughts, different ideas, different versions of self. It's showing us where it is that we have to move away from what is old, tried, tested, and true, what it is that we've outgrown, what it is that we're no longer in alignment with, in order to enter into a new learning chapter where foreign territory is the name of the game. Now, anytime that we have an interaction, good, bad, or otherwise, between the moon and the sun, there's always a revelation of sort. We're bringing something into our awareness. Again, the moon being our unconscious selves and the sun being our conscious selves, we need to sit in a tension point, in a conflict point, in order to really explore what's going on within us, where it is that we're feeling kind of pulled back into the past, where it is that we're feeling pulled into the future, where it is that there's still levels of confusion. And from that, there should be an aha moment that pops off that brings into our awareness hidden details that up until this point we just didn't know, we just didn't see, we just didn't have available to us. This is going to change the game because it's going to really show us what it is that we have to move away from and really emphasize what it is that we absolutely have a desire to move closer to. The moon is then going to come up to, bump into, conjunct Venus. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's in this Scorpio energy, not her most favorite place to be because, of course, there's some deep, intense, dark fears that need to be realized in order for us to truly get in alignment with what it is that will make us happy, what it is that we're very much passionate about, what it is that our heart truly desires. So, of course, there's a lot going on as far as Venus is concerned in the Scorpio energy. I'm going to say the intensity going on in the heart activations at this time are due to Venus being in the Scorpio energy. And the moon coming up to and conjuncting Venus is definitely going to do one of two things and maybe a little bit of both, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. First of all, we're going to get very intense with our emotions, with our heart space, realizing where it is that we're feeling a little bit conflicted, withdrawn, disconnected, detached from certain relationship dynamics, from certain habits, from certain aspects of our lives that we had once built, that we were once in resonation with, that we're no longer really in alignment with at all. We have to sit in the funk. Again, we have to sit in the darkness before we're going to gain clarity, before we're going to have a breakthrough, before we're going to see the light. The other column here is that out of this conflict, this intensity, this deep, dark activation of our greatest fears and our greatest passions and desires will illuminate to us where it is that we're bossing up, where it is that we're empowering ourselves, where it is that we are more focused on building a life, a realm, a reality that not only looks good, but that actually feels good. And that feel good energy is very intense, very passionate right now because of the Scorpio influence. The moon then goes ahead, directly opposes, sits across from Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He's retrograde in Taurus energy. Again, Scorpio energy, Taurus energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. They represent the axis of give and take, death, rebirth. You know, they really are giving the emphasis on what needs to be removed, Scorpio energy, in order for us to have a space to build something new, Taurus energy. We remove the emotions that are holding us back from going after the kind of opportunities that we know will give us a lot of growth, that will give us a lot of boost in our confidence and our self-esteem and put us on the right path. But we got to get rid of the darker thoughts, the darker emotions, again, Scorpio energy, shadow work, in order to be in a different mind frame, to tap into a different energy, to decide upon what it is that we want to pour our time and energy into as far as bringing new aspects to life. So there is a lot of pressure here. Of course, an opposition is always a choice point, always a boiling point, if you will. We equally have to realize where it is that we are resisting the changes that we're kind of praying for, as as we also realize where it is that we are essentially creating a blockage within the path in the progression that we were hoping to see at this point. This is why an inner change and inner transformation is needed the most before we can go ahead and engage the physical body to take action out in the external world. Jupiter, typically speaking, is very positive, very much plucking out the silver linings of our experience and putting us in a more confident type of mind space, more of an emotional space. But right now, this opposition needs to highlight where it is that we're not feeling so good, not feeling so hot, not feeling like we've grown, not feeling like we've healed. Instead, we need to be illuminated to the problem in order for us to realize that, technically speaking, we're contributing to the problem. We need to get out of our own damn way. From that, there is a realization that will take place on where it is that we're being offered a choice point, especially in the aspects of our current circumstances and situations where we're kind of feeling stuck and stagnant. These are the opportunities that we really need to seize to see where it is that we do have an opportunity to grow up, to expand, to really put into practice all of the things that we have previously learned. The moon in Scorpio then going to sextile, beautiful interaction with Mercury. Mercury, of course, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in his final days of thinking clearly and working in a forward direction, because of course he is going to go retrograde shortly after the new moon in Sagittarius pops off. Mercury is in Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy and Scorpio energy get very, very well together. They work super well together. We have the emotional change and transformation from the Scorpio energy really kind of crashing those emotional, passionate type of waves on the rigid thinking that we mostly have with Mercury being in this Capricorn energy. Of course, Mercury being in Capricorn energy, we're thinking a lot about tying up the loose ends from some of the projects, some of the situations and circumstances that are a little bit messy that need to be resolved to free us up to start creating something new. We're very much thinking about our long-term goals, our long-term plans. We're very much thinking about a system that we need to put in place in order to actually plan and strategize to bring some of these visions to life. The moon and Mercury, when they get along, means that our heart and our head, they're on the same page right now. We understand where it is that we've been holding on to the old, even though that we haven't really been resonating with that energy. We understand where it is that we've been blocking ourselves in this realization of getting out of our own way so that we can bring something new, something more long-term, something more stable into our realm, into our reality. And where conversations and communications are concerned, you best believe that they're going to get deep, they're going to get passionate, but they're also going to be very, very clear and very matter of fact. We get that grounded, stabilizing energy of Capricorn, the say it as it is, not for the way that you want to sugarcoat it type of vibe from Mercury being in Capricorn energy. And you can't get any more real, raw, and authentic than the Scorpio energy. So emotionally speaking, we are definitely in touch with the most intense thoughts and emotions within us. And if we are put in a situation to have these conversations with other people, you can definitely expect that there's going to be a lot resolved and a lot that is going to kind of be triggered and sparked as far as collaboration goes, really kind of seeing new ideas pop off, new validations, new confirmations coming in, and we're definitely going to be expanding on some of the ideas, some of the seeds that we have already been working with. The moon is then going to interact with Neptune again, this time not so favorably. So here's where things get dark. Here's where things get overwhelming. Here's where we're struggling to trust our intuition. Here's where we are sitting more in confusion than we are in clarity. And this is where we become very overwhelmed with the subtle energies of our environment, especially when it comes to other people. Now, sometimes we need to sit in the, I'm going to say, nightmare-scape of our existence in order to understand where it is that, guess what, things aren't that bad. There's a little bit of an exaggeration in our inner realm on, perceiving certain situations, topics, and themes outside of us. The escape artist energy coming from Neptune being in Pisces energy just wants to kind of not deal with the truth, not deal with real life, just kind of curl up, bury your head in the sand until this particular moment of confusion passes. There's a lot to be learned from these not so nice thoughts and feelings. And especially in Scorpio energy, we're doing the shadow work. We have to get real and raw and vulnerable with understanding the programming that our egoic selves are constantly in alignment with, that it's up to us and our higher selves and our awareness and our perception to constantly be rewriting that script, flipping the narrative, so to speak. But at this particular point in time, the energies are going to be a little bit much. We're not going to feel grounded. We're not going to feel like we're growing, like we're healing, like we're gaining clarity. We have to sit in that funk. We have to sit in that darkness in order for us to appreciate the light, the information, the clarity that is on its way. The moon is then going to interact in a positive way with Mars. So Mars co-rules over Scorpio energy. Of course, Pluto is the primary ruler, which means that anytime that we are interacting with the ruler of the energy that the moon is currently in, there's definitely more of an intensity there than anything else. This is a good vibe, but it is going to be strong. It's going to be intense. It's going to be passionate. Mars, again, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passions, our desires, even our anger. In Sagittarius energy, thinking big and wanting to take action on those big ideas, on this new truth, on this mission, on this purpose, on this quest. He's been a little bit stunted out in being able to kind of make the kinds of moves in which he was hoping to make. But nonetheless, the moon interacting with Mars at this point is very intense. We're understanding what we're passionate about. And let me again remind you, the line between anger and passion, very, very thin. Sometimes you have to figure out what is angering you, what is frustrating you, what is putting you in a state of irritability in order to understand what you actually care about. This is going to be very intense. It's going to be very revealing because we are kind of tapping into a new level of determination, of perseverance, of passion, of desire, of creativity, of motivation. And again, if you're using anger as the fuel to keep that fire lit within you, then this is going to work very well in your favor because you're going to be able to see the areas of your life that are frustrating you, that are agitating you, where it is that you don't feel in power, where you don't feel in control, where you do feel like you're being held back, blocked by the cosmos from taking the kind of actions in which you were hoping to take. And that in itself is going to be very revealing on where your energy is needed, what you have to be focused on, what you have to be pursuing, and what it is that you have to be realizing within yourself that's actually bringing you back to a state of being ignited in your passions, in your fire, in your flame. The last thing that we have going on here today is Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Scorpio energy, now directly opposing, sitting across from Jupiter. So Jupiter being retrograde in the Taurus energy, again, Scorpio energy, Taurus energy, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. This can manifest one of two ways, and again, can kind of tap into column A and column B. First of all, what I would say is that there's an overwhelming, semi-over-exaggerated state of affection, state of emotion, state of feeling. Venus being all about that heart space, of course, in Scorpio energy, she has to do a deep dive, really kind of unearth some of the hidden details, some of the, let's call it conditioning, programming, old traditions, connections, codependency. All of those topics and themes come up in order for us to realize that we're resisting letting go of some of the aspects in life that are no longer meant for us. At the same time, Jupiter tends to magnify, turn the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking, whatever it is that we're feeling. He's retrograde in this Taurus energy, trying to kind of give us a grow up and a glow up opportunity within ourselves to get to the point of positive confidence that we need to get at, to actually go out in the external world and start kind of creating opportunities for growth, for expansion, for learning, for, kind of reaching new goals, new dreams, new visions, new ambitions. But we're not there yet. We have a lot to unpack, especially when it comes to relationship dynamics. We are feeling overwhelmed with the choice point on who is coming with us in this next chapter, who it is that we're leaving behind. And a lot of that is dependent upon the version of self that we are currently trying to embody. Now, many of us are going to reach that solstice point where the timelines start merging, where the new self and the new soul contracts start to get anchored in. Many of us are going to retreat back to what is old, tried, tested, true, what is familiar, what is comfortable, what is predictable. There are just a small handful of us that are going to be eager beavers ready to jump into new foreign territory, being really pushed and challenged to overcome some of the things that we've really been aware of over these last couple of weeks that are holding us back from truly going after what it is that we want. So there's like this push and pull between, are we going to really kind of cut people off and try to kind of navigate this next path without them? Are we creating an energetic distance, if you will, in these existing relationship dynamics where, you know, potentially we don't have to cut people off, but we do have to create distance in order for us to know who it is that we are without these particular individuals? There's a lot of thoughts going on, especially where our happiness is concerned, and who and what is contributing to that, and who and what is jeopardizing that. Jupiter is giving us an opportunity to really grow from these particular situations, from these particular energy dynamics. But at this particular point in time, our energy isn't really appearing to us as the actual state that we're sitting in. It is over exaggerated. It is over complicated. It is intensified in a lot of ways. And so we're really not perceiving it in the natural form that it actually is. There's a lot of fluff really kind of clouding our judgment, clouding our emotions, clouding our thoughts when it comes to the major changes, the major transformations that our heart is asking us to do.